Welcome into this week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co-host, Jared Bergstrom. Well, Jared, I think we might have missed a week because there was a lot going on with just the end of the year and with schedule conflicts and everything. So we got to talk about, how things ended with the NFL regular season, talk about the first couple rounds of the college football playoffs, our thoughts on how that went, and at least I got some thoughts on where we're going to go next after this next year's version, because it goes through 2026 with the 12 team with this particular setup, and I think I know exactly where we're going after that. So maybe we'll talk about that, and let's just jump on into it. Where exactly are we going to start with? And we normally start with high school or with college. So
we can talk about high school too. I mean, but let's just get started with the college. So let's see. We've been off since before it started, so I guess we can go back and look.
So real quick, one thing before we actually do the
recap.
Before we actually do the games, the big games.
Okay.
I did just want to maybe mention, I gotta go back and I gotta find the box score. I should have been prepared. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There it is.
Oh, can I pull it up then?
Oh, you can, yeah. Number 17.
Oh, okay, we're going this game.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to talk about another game.
No, this was the one that before we got to the big ones. We can, if there's another one that you want to talk about, then we can go there too. But this was the big one I wanted to talk about. Yeah, Mr. Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Mr.
I picked that
Heisman
game
winner.
right. I think we both picked BYU in that because we talked about a handful of bowl games.
Yes, I definitely did pick BYU. The Heisman winner,
Let's-
4 catches for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. So he had a pretty good offensive day. And it's not like he got torched on the defensive end. But I thought he was a difference maker. I thought the Heisman was supposed to be the best player in the country and that he was supposed to be a difference maker. Now the college football season is pretty much over. My rants about that will pretty much be over. I might go back to it a time or two every once in a while. But, it was just sad. Sad. He didn't deserve the Heisman.
And didn't deserve the win.
And I think games like that kind of show it.
Yeah.
So.
There was a couple other games that I kind of want that we talked about that I, and see, when you can bet on everything, you watch these games a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a 5 overtime game in the Hawaii Bowl with South Florida and San Jose State. That one was a fun one to watch. The 6 overtime game up in Detroit between Toledo and Pittsburgh. We made fun about Rutgers not being a football team all year, and then they lose to 44-41 to K-State in the Ventures Bowl.
Rutgers actually has been a lot better over the last couple years, but I will still always make fun of them.
True. Navy beat Oklahoma. Not really a shocker with how bad Oklahoma tapered off was really just this year.
Yeah, they haven't fired Brent Venables yet, have they?
No.
I know a lot of Oklahoma people that want that to happen.
We had 2 college basketball teams playing a football game in a baseball stadium.
Oh,
UConn beat North Carolina in the Fenway
right.
Bowl.
That's right.
And really what was the best bowl game, or one of the better outside of the bowl games, or the playoffs that I liked that I watched, was the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I knew you were going to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
The Iowa State won 42-41. I don't think it would have been that close if Cam Ward didn't pull himself at halftime.
Yeah, no, me too. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I definitely hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. If you're going to play for half, you already had the opportunity to get hurt. Playing the second half, does it really increase it that much? I mean, I guess it doubles the chance, but I just it doesn't really matter that much because it wasn't a big bowl. It wasn't a bowl that mattered massively. It is a kind of a fan favorite bowl at this point because of the whole Pop-Tart thing. That is pretty cool. But yeah, that.
And that's not. I mean, that's saying stuff to scouts too. It's like you pull yourself at halftime in a game that it doesn't matter to you. They're not going to let you do that your rookie year. It's like you're.
Well, and I was about to say, does that kind of show? Oh, he might be Anthony Richardson. He gets tired and he doesn't actually care that much. I mean, I don't know. And I've traditionally been an Anthony Richardson fan. I've rooted for him
half of the season this year.
So.
But yes, I mean that just raises some questions for NFL scouts. That could it hurt his draft stock? Maybe, but I'm sure a team that needs a quarterback in the top 5 are going to probably still take him. Alabama. Alabama is the first team in college football history to lose to the same team in 1 year in 2 separate bowl games.
Yeah. I was completely shocked.
I was pissed because I took Michigan plus 16.5 points.
You could have taken them straight up.
I should have just taken a money line. But no, I mean, Jalen Milroe was just, And I saved that to talk. There were some people that saying that he might not go to the draft because that last couple of weeks really hurt his draft stock. I mean, he was mid-first round, and I think, I haven't looked at it recently, but I think after that game, he was almost midway through the second now.
Well, and, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure he has committed, or he has submitted for the draft. Now, he could end up kind of withdrawing like Carson Beck just did, and ended up, he's on his way to Miami now. So he could do that. Just another bowl game thing to talk about. Well, real quick, back to the Navy, right? It was Navy, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. He did declare for the draft the day after that bowl game.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he could still go back and pull a Carson Beck. But I just wanted to point out that Navy played in the Lockheed Martin Armed Service Bowl. I just thought that, and the fact that the Armed Service Bowl is sponsored by Lockheed Martin, I just think is kind of funny. Who else would sponsor it, I guess, rather than a defense contractor?
Right.
But then, the other bowl I did kind of want to bring up, not that I really cared that much, but the Northern Illinois Fresno State.
That one was a good one.
Yeah, and that is kind of a preview to a new conference matchup because I don't know if you saw Northern Illinois is going to be going to the Mountain West for football only. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't exactly know why football only, but
they want to get the football money contract.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess the Mountain West isn't going to be the basketball conference it was after Boise and all these other teams leave. So maybe that's why. Because before the Mountain West was a real good basketball conference, could send 4, 5, 6 teams every year. But now it's not gonna be like that, I guess. So I guess it makes sense.
In one more game, and it's not really a game, I would lose this bowl game on purpose if I was the coach. Because I am not.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
The Duke's Mayo.
He put a swim cap on.
I just wouldn't accept the invite.
Yeah.
That's a trooper. Let's make some noise.
No. Mayonnaise is not that runny either, so they had to water that down or heat it up. And I'm going to say it, Duke's Mayo is trash.
Oh, see, I think you're wrong. I think it's good.
I don't like it.
I think it's good. But that being said.
Yeah, like you said, I'm not accepting the. Oh, you're going to play the Duke's Mayo Bowl? The hell we are.
Yeah.
Or we're going to lose.
Nope. If my entire team just transferred away, sure, I'll do it. But.
Yeah.
Not doing that. That's. I was literally about to say before you said it's trash. I think it's good mayonnaise. But nope, not doing that. That's something else.
All right, so now on to the playoffs, or the playoff bracket, I guess.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. No upsets in the first round. Kind of went as how we expected. Texas beats Clemson by 14. Ohio State's defense jumps on Tennessee in the first quarter. They cruise to a 42-17 win. Penn State couldn't stop, or SMU couldn't stop Penn State. And Indiana, I don't know what Cignetti was thinking. There was just a lot of questionable coaching decisions by him, especially when he had it to a one-possession game, or maybe it was 10 points, but there were just a couple questionable coaching decisions by him in that game.
Well, and so the game in the first round that I was most intrigued by, I mean, frankly, I guess before the game it was the Clemson-Texas one, but then that kind of played out. I guess how most people thought it probably would. I didn't think it'd be that far. I didn't think it'd be 2 touchdowns, but whatever. The SMU, it wasn't really that Penn State, or the SMU couldn't stop Penn State. They couldn't get out of their own way.
That's true.
3 interceptions in the first half. Is that what it was? And like a couple of times they were in the red zone and they turned it over. And you just, they really killed themselves. And yeah, so Jennings had 3 picks and only 195 yards, was just over 50% passing. So yeah, just they really, really got themselves. One was a short interception. The other one, they were at least at the 40 before. Or wait, no. They were at they were at the Penn State 40, and there was an interception, and that one he threw right to the defender. And then the next one, he threw right to the defender. And
you can't give Penn State a short field. And
2 of them were pick sixes.
Never mind, that's not giving a short field. You're just giving them points.
Yeah, that's the shortest field.
Yeah. Put your defense, or you put your offense right back out there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it was like the biggest game that they'd played in a really long time, and they just weren't ready for it. I have no clue, but they really did not help themselves at all in the Penn State game. So, have any other comments really about the?
Not the first round.
Oh, I do have a little bit of a comment about the Ohio State game, I guess. I thought that the Buckeyes would probably win that game, but I was shocked at the fact that they came out and just blew their doors off.
Yeah, defense really stepped up. I mean, between Sawyer and JT, they really kind of crashed down on Nico.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, he kind of made him see ghosts like Sam Darnold did years ago, because he was just off the rest of the game. But I mean, that pressure, and it carried over to the next game too.
So, I think I'll hold off on that question. I'll wait until we get through the next. So then I guess we're going to move to the next round.
And you just want to start with that question, or you want to wait till the end of the round?
Sure. We'll start there.
Okay.
We'll start there. So did Ryan Day know he was coaching for his job?
I felt like
or did the players know that he was coaching for his job? Because this is a different team than what we've seen every game all season long.
Chip Kelly woke up and he finally realized, I've got 3 good receivers that I can throw the ball to. And so why not try to draw them in motion and get them wide open? And I still think there's points that it's Ohio, and there was points in the Oregon game. Ohio State's hey, let's just try to run the ball and run some clock, and then 3 and out, 2 straight possessions in the second half. I was oh. I know it was still a stretch for Oregon to come back, but it's you don't want to give Oregon any kind of momentum. We got a 3 and out again. We score here. We could go. It could give them an onside kick opportunity maybe, or. But it's you just don't want to try to give them momentum back, because it's they know what they have to do to try to come back, and you're just trying to take as much time off the clock as you can to get to, and lack for a better word, especially if Ryan Day's used it before, escape with a win.
Yeah, and that Oregon, I was so shocked that Oregon,
I was shocked that it was that much that quick.
Yeah. I mean,
figured it'd be a shootout, kind of like the Penn State-Oregon Big Ten game.
When, like, I was about to say, Oregon didn't have, like, the greatest defense of all time all season long or anything, but I was just shocked that they just came out and got shelled like that, so quick and so hard. And then, when you're down by 3 touchdowns at halftime, well, what are you going to do then?
Right.
So, which one next? I guess maybe the Notre Dame Georgia, because I have rooting interest in one of the other ones, and then the other one was the best game of the playoffs until last night.
I kind of felt like it could have been worse than what it was. Just with how hot Notre Dame had been coming the last few weeks of the season. Their defense was on fire. It was Gunnar Stockton?
Yes.
It was his first career college start. Bright lights in a big bowl game, and I kind of felt like it could have been a lot worse. Georgia's defense, it was, let me click on it. I think it was tied at halftime? No, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, they were down 10.
Down 10 at halftime. But there was chances for them to come back, but the defense gave up huge plays on third down that really that kept the momentum with Notre Dame.
Well, and didn't they have like a big play that was drawn back because one of their like GAs, like graduate assistants or whatever, like got in the way of the ref or something?
Yeah, the ref ran into him.
Yeah. And so I don't like that. That's a big mistake. Or I don't know, was it a mistake? Because I heard that the kid wasn't actually on the line, and I didn't actually see it.
Well, here, let's take a look at it then.
ETN, the running back, play action fake by Stockton. Arian Smith behind the defender. He is one of the fastest men in college football, and they caught him. Xavier Watts got him at the 11.
So that's about a gain of 50, if not 60. Okay, 70.
Squatting there, thinking the route's going to be underneath. You can't do that against one of the fastest men in college football. Arian Smith goes right behind him. The ball is perfectly thrown to the outside shoulder, and while drops have been a challenge at times for Arian Smith, it was not right there. It was a
He kind of saw.
catch down the side.
I don't know.
I don't want to see that.
Ooh, he got blown up too.
I wish I don't have like the.
You can slow it down more over there in the settings.
Okay, well here it is. It's blurry. So, not necessarily that he was in the way, unless he jumped back and he was in the way. Because, I don't. You said in the settings I can slow it down? He might have been. Yep, there he is. His foot's in the white.
Okay.
All right, then I agree with it.
That's the right call. But that's very unfortunate for Georgia. That could have been a game-changing play because.
Oh, that would have given them the first score of the game.
Well,
potentially.
Well, then we saw in last night's game, which we'll talk about more here in a few minutes, but we saw in last night's game that. Once a game, if you can make a game one possession, you can make the other team tight, and quarterbacks that aren't prone to making a lot of mistakes can turn around and make an uncharacteristic mistake. The pass that Drew threw over the middle last night, and if they could have scored there, cut that lead to only 6. Does Riley Leonard, who only had 90 passing yards that night, get tight? Maybe. I don't know. So yeah, Georgia's team is so good. So I couldn't count them out. But at the same time, with a new quarterback who hadn't played much, and even with Carson Beck, they didn't look the greatest this year. You know,
Definitely.
It was,
I mean, yes,
it was
with a loss.
a tough road to try and. It was a tough task, you know. So, anything else on that game?
I'm trying to find this. And I was watching this over at Big Jim's. So we were, and I told them
That's been a problem most of the year.
they were going to, I would just try to draw them off sides.
28 rush yards.
But I wasn't expecting the whole punt team to run off and the offense to come back on.
Special team situations are so creative.
Well, with that, and it's like
Substitute, so Kirby Smart knows he
you at this point. Is there anything you can even like? Why didn't Kirby Smart just take his time substituting? Because they have to allow you to do it. And like, is there a time frame that it's like,
with nearly 2 yards to
if they give you 15 seconds, that's enough time? Should have just gone slow about it. Had your defense going slow, and then they can't even do it. They're not even allowed to snap the ball. Unless I'm missing something.
Well, right here is where there's, because I rewound it, there's 13 players for Georgia on the field right here. Because this is right after the switch, and you'll see here one runs off late, and then another one runs off late. If I'm Kirby Smart, just call the timeout.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 12th one was this one back here.
Okay. There's just so many guys up there on the line and with the official.
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
3 right here, 2 here. But yeah, at that point, so there's 5 seconds left. Just call the timeout, because if not, they're not gonna run the play, because they're not gonna give you the ball right there.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason Notre Dame hiked it is because
play clock at 3.
they jumped off sides.
A movement by Georgia.
Yeah, and that was just crazy.
Throws it deep, diving attempt.
So it just, yeah, I mean, right there was just take your timeout, and then you could try to block the punt or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that's it for that game for me now.
All right. Well, I guess then we can talk about the Boise State game, because the other game was the best game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go first.
I was riding with Boise. I really thought Boise was going to come out and play better, but what is it? I want to make sure. Penn State went down and scored, and then got a turnover and went and scored right.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like all the momentum was out of the sails of Boise State, and they had opportunities. It's just Penn State was just, I guess James Franklin learned how to coach in a big game.
I don't know if I would say that. I think we just beat ourselves. Like 100%. I'm not saying that Penn State didn't necessarily deserve to win the game. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say that. I think we beat ourselves. And they did a really good job of stacking the box and making it really difficult on Ash and Genty. I've heard a lot of people trying to run their mouths and act like he had a terrible game because he only had 104 yards on 30 carries. So that's only 5.5 yards a carry. But he had...
When you're running against 9 people in the box.
You got any idea how many forced missed tackles he had in that game?
Oh, God, no.
33. And 21 of them were in the backfield.
Oh, my God.
It's outstanding that he averaged 3.5 yards.
5.5 a carry, you said?
No, 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah. If it was 5.5, we would have won the game, in my opinion. If he would average 5.5 yards a carry on 30 carries, they wouldn't have been able to stop us, and we wouldn't. And Maddox Madsen wouldn't have had to throw the ball in all of the situations that he did, and he wouldn't have thrown 3 interceptions.
I didn't realize you had 4 turnovers.
Yeah. Well, Genty fumbled twice. We got one of them back, and the one that we didn't get back was probably the luckiest turnover the luckiest fumble recovery I've seen in my whole life. He was on the sideline, and one of their defenders, it was a good play, came up behind him and was able to punch it out. And the defender who recovered the fumble was sprinting out of bounds, and it literally just popped up in front of him at the right time. He caught it, got 2 feet down. Well, I mean, you only need one, but caught it, got the foot down, and ran out of bounds. If the ball would have gotten to him a third of a second later, or if he would have been a third of a yard further, either or, it wouldn't have been a turnover, and they wouldn't have gotten out to a 14-0 lead. And then 2 missed field goals, which was just insane, because our field goal kicker, his name is Jonah Dalmas, is one of the leading scorers in NCAA history. It's nuts. I'm actually gonna look that up now. See how close he is, because I know he's up there. But that, and then we had a touchdown that was pulled off the board because of illegal hands to the face, which I'm not saying necessarily shouldn't have been called, but at the same time, what are you supposed to do when the defensive lineman loses his balance and his head, he just goes like this head first at you?
Right.
Where are you supposed to go? If it,
I found that
the
fumble.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Jones.
Yeah, that's insane.
And they'll show it from the sideline angle here in a minute.
No, I guess that was just first half highlight. They didn't show a replay. It's not through ESPN, it's through Bleacher.
Oh, okay. But yeah, just incredibly unlucky.
Right.
Jonah Dalmas, okay, if you want to pull it up, I have it. 4th leading scorer in NCAA football history.
I can't see. Who's he behind?
Will
Reichard,
Kenneth
okay.
Dixon, Will Reichard, and Keenan Reynolds.
I've only heard of Will Reichard.
Keenan Reynolds played for Navy in the teens, 12 to 15. At Will Reichard, Alabama, 19 to 23. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a rookie this year for, I forget where he's at.
And then Kenneth Dixon was 2012 to 2015 at Louisiana Tech. Those are the only people that he's behind. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look, Monte Ball is number 5.
I can't believe Case Keenum isn't up there. I mean, Dylan Gabriel just tied his with the passing touchdowns in college football. I'm surprised he's not up there.
Not even in the top 25, I guess.
Dang.
Wow.
I guess it's all just kickers and running backs.
Mostly kickers, yeah. But yeah, missed 2 field goals and then have that touchdown pulled off the board, which the touchdown would have cut the lead to 3 in the 4th quarter.
Okay.
And it was just unfortunate. We beat ourselves, and there was also a ton of penalties. Just unforced errors, and a couple of those penalties then led to the turnovers. 13 penalties for 90 yards. Just really shot ourselves in the foot. And the crazy part is, I was shocked that this was the case. Maddox Madison threw for over 300 yards. We were able to move the ball through the air because they focused on Genty so much. And yeah, it just sucks that that's the way it ended for this team. But I think we're going to grow, we're going to get better, and I was talking to my coworker about this earlier, and, we kind of fell back over the last 5 or 6 years from where we were in the early and mid-teens, where we'd built up to with Chris Peterson and with Dirk Coder, with guys like that. We'd kind of fallen back because we didn't hire the right guys to be coach the last couple of times. And now we got the right coach in the building again, and now I feel like maybe we're not 100% back to where we were when we had Kellen Moore and all those dudes back then, but we're very, very close. Actually, we might be closer because, you know, a big thing that I was very impressed with in this game when I was a kid and Boise State was at their best. One of the main ways that we beat great teams was you came out and you played a great first half, got a big lead, and then we didn't have the dudes to be able to compete and to be able to stick around all game long. Like our defense would just get tired after a while because we just didn't have good enough dudes. This year, that was not the case. That was not the case at all. Our defense was on the field for what felt like an eternity at times. And actually, we ended up winning the possession battle. Wow, I didn't know that. They ended up only being on the field 25 minutes or 26 minutes. But that just shows how I feel. That shows how far that we've come because our defense was getting destroyed in the first quarter. Specifically, they kind of started to get things together in the in the second quarter, and then in the second half, they did a really good job of being able to contain the Notre Dame offense, and that just wouldn't have happened in 15 years ago. We just wouldn't have had the dudes to be able to last that long because in the big game that everyone knows about with Boise State, we got up. It was like 17 points on Oklahoma. And then Oklahoma cut into the lead and was able to take the lead before the end of the game. And then we had the magical the pitch or the hook and ladder, and then in overtime the Statue of Liberty to win it all. When we went east and played Virginia Tech, we got up like 3 touchdowns on them in the first half, and then we just had enough to hang on by the end of the game. And then we were like the 3rd-ranked team in the country. They were the 5th. And we just didn't have the dudes. And in this game, we had the dudes to be able to stick around. And, in the past, if Boise State would have came out and been down 14-0 in the first quarter, the game was over if we're playing a team like the Nittany Lions. That's not the case anymore, it seems. And that makes me really excited. We just got to get the right guys in the right skill positions, and we actually have to execute. Because, like I said, I think we beat ourselves, and we play this game again, I don't think we'd lose. Like, if you played this game 10 more times,
7.
I was going to say at least 6. Give me 6 of them. And I think that this is going to help us a lot because, I think just a handful of dudes said, man, I'm not getting the time I deserve at X school that I'm at. Boise State is just a couple of dudes away. We just get a couple of more dudes, we'll be there. And I saw this article, the last thing about the Boise State. It doesn't necessarily pertain to this season. I mean, it kind of does. But I went back, I saw this article a couple weeks ago about the fact that Mason Graham initially out of high school was committed to Boise State, and then he ended up flipping and going to Michigan. Just makes me sad. Could you imagine? We would have killed them. We would have won by 2 touchdowns if we had Mason Graham on that defensive line. Oh my goodness. They ran for like 218 yards. They would have ran for like 18 yards. Oh man, I'm disappointed in that. That would have been crazy, but.
All right, now on to the Texas-Arizona State game, and I guess it's a game. I didn't really care who won. I just was glad it was a great football game, and I was very skeptical of Arizona State at halftime, trailing 17-3.
So was I, and I was very close to just taking the Texas and the points. Just the odds wouldn't be that great, but I'll still take it. Just make a little something. And I didn't, and I'm very, very happy that I didn't.
I left in the 3rd quarter to go to Big Jim's house to watch the Ohio State game because we watch all the Ohio State games together. And I walk in the back door. He goes, "You're missing a hell of a game." I said, "What?" They were I think it was. I left. It was 17 to 8. I was like, "What?" And I think they had just scored and went for 2 and got it. And yeah, or no, I just walked in and Scadaboo threw the touchdown. Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about whoever gets him in the draft. Oh God, he's.
When I actually turned it on for the first time, it was like 24-8, and I was like, "All right." I just had it on as background noise, really. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the first score, and then I saw the Scadaboo touchdown, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is Texas actually going to throw this game away?" I was like, "I'm so glad I didn't take that line," but I was like, "Is Texas actually going to throw this thing away?" And then the missed field goal. 2 of them. Dude. Pat, you got to do a lot of work defending your people right now because they're hurting. They almost got Texas out of the playoffs, which would have hurt me because I think they're the only team that has a shot at this point to beat Ohio State. Frickin'. And they actually took Boise State out of the playoffs in a way. I mean,
he missed 2 field goals. It changes your momentum.
Changes it a lot, especially because we would have had a field goal on the first possession on our first possession, like touching the ball. So it would have been 14-3, like out the gate, and it just gives you a different feel. And then when you score that touchdown before half, then it's like, okay, it's 14-10. You get the stop, then you score, then we take the lead. Oh, that's. I know I said I was done, but that changes it so much.
You hear what Saban said? Because when Texas called the timeout right before the game, or right before it went, right at the end of the game, Saban went, or I think it was the next day, or maybe on McAfee's show. He goes, "I don't know what Shark was thinking." He goes, I don't go up and talk to my kickers. Not already missing one.
Like
not missing 2 in the SEC championship game the way he did. He goes, I am letting him be by himself.
Yep, just leave him alone. Mm-hmm. Like that whole. If anyone goes and talks to him, it's like his holder or his long snapper. That's his dude. That's the guy that he talks to the most, and he's supposed to be like the most locked in with. You know, if anything, hey, go make sure he's good. But no. Definitely not you.
Right.
I feel like that adds more pressure.
Right. Like, it's okay. If you make this kick, we're going to overtime. No, you can't just say that because, I mean, like you said, they're lucky that they. Oh, that, and I'll show it because I have it. That 4th down touchdown in overtime. Oh.
Well, and that was the craziest thing. They couldn't do anything in that first overtime. The 4th down touchdown, and then the
pick?
No, the touchdown coming out of the start of the second overtime. First play. Delp, wide open.
Yeah, this is 4th and 13.
To stay alive, can they hook 'em? Touchdown, Matthew Golden.
4th and 13. How do you let that guy get behind everybody?
I get it. You're trying to stop the first down.
And I know they were playing for the first down, but it's like, oh. And then you said the coming out of all this touchdown.
Yes, this.
Yeah, first play.
Dagger.
Opens it up that way. Texas's first
Helm. I said dope. Wrong tight end. But
from one of the best tight ends in the country.
Dagger.
And then
I mean, you had him dead to rights 2 plays ago, and that's so deflating. 2 plays in a row, touchdown.
And I mean, this is just a bad way to end. I mean, you don't. I felt for was it Levitt? I think was the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, the defender made a hell of a play on the ball.
But he also didn't really read.
No,
he locked in on him, and that's. That's tough. It's a heck of a game, though.
If Scadaboo, which did you hear about the people kept or the announcers kept saying, "Oh, he's sick." That's why he was thrown. I forget who it was, but an independent neurologist said that it looked like he was had a concussion after he took that hit. If anything comes out about that, Arizona State can get in serious trouble.
Oh, they're gonna be in so much trouble. I never heard about that.
Yeah, but I mean that's why I think it. I mean, he wasn't effective. I mean, they couldn't. Scadaboo wasn't really used in either of the overtimes. I think he had 2 carries in the first overtime.
Really?
And I think in the second overtime, I think he was left in there just to block.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, but he was still first time ever in what was that the Peach Bowl that a losing player is the MVP. I mean, hell, when you've got a 42-yard passing touchdown, 43 yards on the ground, and 2 touchdowns, yeah. And Arizona State came out with some trickery. The punter threw for a 31-yard or 32-yard strike, not a score, but a strike.
He ran it for 3 times in the first overtime. They don't even have the second overtime on here. That's funny. Like on the what you call it? On the play-by-play thingy on ESPN, the last overtime's not there. It's got it's got the first Arizona State one and then the 2 by Texas.
Huh. And there, actually, I found the play that I think it happened on.
Oh, okay. Jared's doing some sleuthing.
I am.
Robinson. And now Arizona State with 5.5 to go. Clean pocket. Scadaboo. He waits.
Oh, when he gets it ripped off.
Yeah.
Head gets. Well, head didn't get. It was his helmet that got ripped off. It would have been problematic. It was more.
And then kind of got punched in the mouth.
Scadaboo scowling at the world. Give him the ball. He puts his head down.
But yeah.
Oh, I gotta say, I've never seen it before, ever. But I loved seeing the offensive tackle, or I think he was probably a guard, I guess, turn around, grab Scadaboo, and flip him into the end zone. That was awesome.
Because you can't pull people off a pile or anything, but you can suplex them into the end zone.
That was truly awesome. I loved that. So.
All right, so talk about the Penn State game last night real quick.
Yeah, we'll probably just make picks for the NFL.
Right.
We're running out of time.
Right. So Penn State, Notre Dame, that game got off slow. I mean, no offense. It was nothing at the end of the first. Yeah. Notre Dame, come on. Gamecast.
I turned it on. It was 10-10 in the fourth quarter. I turned it on at the right time.
Okay, so yeah, you found the right time. But yeah, Penn State scored quickly too. They scored to tie it at 17, and then that was at 10:20 left in the game, and then at 7:55 they scored to take the lead. So it's like they scored quickly. Notre Dame went 3 and out. But their backup came in, and that was huge. Getting that field goal, I know he didn't have a touchdown, but just finishing that drive to get a field goal helped them win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely gave them a little bit of a boost going into halftime. Kind of was able to lift their spirits a little bit. And then, it wasn't the greatest outing out there. They kind of got their butts kicked a little bit. But they were able to find a way. Somehow, the defense played awesome. Played great. And then Drew Aller just made a really bad throw at the worst time possible.
Yeah.
I mean, throwing late, over the middle, that's like the number 1 rule. That's one of the biggest rules as a quarterback. Can't throw back across your body, can't throw late over the middle. Those are 2 of the biggest ones. And he just I think it was kind of maybe a combination of both. He read the left side of the field, didn't see what he wanted, and then was like, oh, he's going to be open. And then just looked and immediately threw it there, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I kind of called it. The announcers they're like, oh, well, they got to at least throw the ball to get into field goal range. and I think it was McDonough who said, "Oh well, he hasn't thrown an interception since like early in the first half against Oregon in the Big Ten championship." I go, "Oh, they just jinxed him." I go, "He's going to throw a pick on his first pass attempt," and sure as shit, he did. Boom.
Well, and so okay, here's a stat that I saw last night after the game. How many catches, yards, touchdowns did the Penn State wide receivers have?
Touchdowns, none. Singleton had them all.
How many catches, yards?
You can't. No, Warren and Singleton are the only ones that caught anything.
No.
Oh, okay. Then also, what was his complete? He's 12 of 23. They probably had one catch for 5 yards.
They had none. No catches for no yards. It was other tight ends, and Singleton had a couple.
All right, so Penn State needs to work on getting some better receivers.
That just not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Well, who are these?
When you only have 3 guys that you really have to defend, and then Kaytron Allen, or I guess, 3 guys. It was Kaytron Allen, Singleton, and Allen only had one catch, but Singleton and Warren. Warren was the only one that had more than 2 catches.
The Harrison Wallace, I don't know who that is, but he had no catches for -3 yards. I don't know how that's possible. Oh, was he might have been the one that lateraled it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Aller threw that. Oh, God, that was a horrible lateral. He threw it
50 yards.
backwards, out of bounds. I mean, an NFL or a college football field is what, 53 and a half yards?
Yep.
He threw it all the way. I mean, it didn't land just out of bounds. It was
Like
over by the railing.
Behind his
bench.
team.
Oh, that was a bad lateral attempt, but
yes. Well, and then I thought it was weird how James Franklin played that last sequence there. He used his timeout so they could get the ball back for a Hail Mary attempt. Mm-hmm. I don't hate it, but not to try and ice them?
that's the thing.
I don't know how much icing actually works, but
Well, they kept saying, I don't know if you were paying, but they kept saying, Notre Dame was one of the worst field goal kicking teams all year.
really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then when he called it, I was shocked. I was like, because you knew Notre Dame was going to call a timeout because they were going to run it down to 2.
Jeter was 65% this season, their kicker.
I didn't say worse. I said one of.
Well, I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
13 of 20. And, oh, wow, he's 1 of 3 from between 30 and 40, but 40 to 50, he was 10 of 13.
How long was the field goal?
It was 41, I think.
Oh, okay. Yep, 41. So yeah, when they said that Penn State called that one time out, I was like, oh. Like you said, I would rather try to ice the kicker and go into overtime than save 6 seconds on a Hail Mary and laterals.
Well, okay. But then just no one got open on that first play after they did get the ball because I liked the idea because if they would have gotten
if they could have got
15 yards, then he could have made it to the end zone. Mm-hmm. I think.
Well,
or
'cause he threw it 53, 55
or if you don't, then you can run a 30-yard hook and ladder.
Right.
Then stuff is downfield and things develop and then the defense maybe gets out of position and like it would have been a better outcome, I think. Like the fact that they didn't get a possession, a completion, and get out of bounds on that first play of that possession really kind of just killed the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But that was probably the worst lateral attempt I've ever seen.
And believe me, we've seen a lot.
Yeah, that is for sure.
All right, so I guess we got to make picks for the game tonight. And then we're going to really quick talk, or I guess we're just going to make picks for the NFL, like you said.
We might have a minute to talk a little bit about something, but yeah. Well, go ahead.
I'm writing it. If Ryan Day, go into this game, still think like you're coaching for your job, because it's turned out pretty good the last 2 weeks.
Well,
or 2 games.
I definitely don't think that's the case.
I know, but he could.
It's locked up, and I feel like he probably knows it at this point. And I'm not saying that that's why I'm not picking Ohio State. I'm not picking Ohio State because I hate them with a furious passion.
I thought you were going to give us something, another reason why you weren't going to pick them.
No.
We've known for, 133 episodes that you hate Ohio State, Andy.
Yes, that's very true. I'm not the most confident in Texas. Really, it's not. I'm kind of nervous.
Okay, well, let me give you my reasoning.
But say what?
Let me give you a couple things why I'm picking Ohio State, not because I'm a fan and all that. You saw what Ohio State's defense did to Dylan Gabriel. And Dylan Gabriel is an escape artist and can get out of things. Quinn Ewers is not. How many times have we seen Quinn Ewers will take an 8, 9, 10-yard sack and just get back up and do the next play?
But also, that is a good point. But also, Texas has a much better defense. A much, much, much better defense. Can they lock down Smith?
That's going to be nobody can lock him down.
No. Yeah, exactly. Nobody can do that. Can they limit him? I think they can.
They better hope they can.
They have a couple of corners that are out of this world good. One of them starts with an M, Makoba or something like that.
Yeah.
The kid is a dog. And then the other guy is Jaden Barron or Jada Barron. I don't know how you say his name exactly, but that's him. They're both dudes, and I think they'll probably be taking turns. And the toughest part for Texas is it's not like you just got to worry about one wide receiver, because
you got to worry about Emeka Ibuka.
And I'm not real scared of Cardell Tate. I don't necessarily, I don't think he'll be that big of an issue.
He gets open,
but he is talented.
Yeah,
and he can help you guys move the chains.
And same with G. Scott. He can get open for a couple plays.
Yeah, if Will Howard is not overthinking it too much, Ohio State might be able to get out of this thing easy. But like I said, the defense is really good for Texas. Mm-hmm. That's what has really kept Texas in this place all year long.
That's why they didn't lose.
Hasn't been there.
That's why they didn't lose to Vandy. That's why they were ugly, close losses to Georgia both times.
Well, and one of the most frustrating things about this Texas team is the fact that we've seen at times how they've performed when they've actually been able to get things clicking a little bit. Just put up 38 points against Clemson. And I'm not saying Clemson has a great defense or anything, but they can click. In the overtime, they got it to work.
That's right.
2 touchdowns in a row.
After it didn't work for the whole second half.
Yeah.
I tell you, and I told this to my grandpa last week, on New Year's Day. I think a big X factor in this game, I think, will be Arch Manning. I think they have to have some sort of package with him in there, because I think if Ewers has been so up and down all year, and we saw when Manning started in 3 games for him, I think, this year. Mm-hmm. Manning was, granted they weren't challenged in those games, but Manning was lights out in those games. So I think there has to be some packages for Arch Manning to come into this game to at least. He's a better scrambler for sure. He can break a tackle and turn a 5-yard gain into 30 down the field real quick. We've seen it a couple times. I think that Shark has got to have something like that in the back of his head. Not necessarily like it has to be trick plays or anything, but if it's second or third and questionable, bring Arch in and let him run it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea for Texas. And I kind of think that whichever team doesn't try to reinvent the wheel might end up winning this thing.
Chip Kelly better listen.
And
Don't
as
reinvent
long
the wheel.
as Texas doesn't, I don't know. I feel like they've gotten in their own way a lot this season. Mm-hmm. They just don't do that. I think they got a good chance to win this game. And so, go Horns. No, horns up.
No, horns down.
Horns up.
No.
We're going with it. Horns up. yeah, I guess that does it for
Yeah, because we'll be
college
back
football.
next week to talk about the championship.
right, barring another crazy snowstorm.
We're just going to have to Zoom each other, and then we'll just post it that way.
There we go.
All right, so we're going to look at the NFL bracket real quick. Actually, I haven't pulled.
I gotta say one thing about the Bengals. It's just so frustrating that we just couldn't lose out and have a good draft pick because, hang on, let me just look at it real quick. Ended the season on a 5-game winning streak and have the 17th pick.
First team in NFL history to finish on a 5-game winning streak and not make the playoffs.
Expanded. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Let's see. How far down could we have been if you don't go on the 5-game winning streak? So 4-game, could have won only 4 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could have had the 7th pick
If they lost all 5?
if we lost all 5. Or no, it actually would have been the 6th pick because we played. No.
You played Cleveland once.
It would have been. Oh my God, we would have had. Cleveland would have had one more win, and Tennessee would have had one more win.
Yeah.
So we could have been the 5th pick in the draft. Could have gotten like Mason Graham or all sorts of dudes. Abdul Carter.
Mason Graham?
Dude, he's gonna be amazing.
Yes, but
Yes, I want Mason Graham very bad. Abdul Carter, one of those guys.
If he declares, which he should.
I want someone who can kill people. Another guy that can hurt quarterbacks on my defense. And that sounds drastic,
It
but
does.
I want guys that are going to bite people's kneecaps off, all right?
Well, then you got to go to Detroit.
They're my second favorite team, okay? So I've embraced the Dan Campbellness. I want nasty. Mason Graham is nasty. In all the right ways.
All right, so let's start with the AFC side. Texans, Chargers.
I'm going to say the Texas Chargers. That'd be something.
I feel like this sophomore slump is insane for C.J. Stroud, and I'm taking the Chargers. I think will win this one easily.
I wouldn't be shocked if you're correct with that. I'm picking Harbaugh.
Like I was talking with Jeff, I think Harbaugh is going to break the chargering streak.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, I hope he's not there for too long because I want the Chargers to still charger. It's nothing against Jeff. It's who they are.
In Los Angeles.
It's who they are.
It's in their DNA.
But he's different, man. He's different. So.
Ravens, Steelers. Good Lord, Baltimore jumped up to 8.5.
9.5 on ESPN.
I'm on. Oh, it does at 9. Dang. All right. Yeah, I think Baltimore will win.
I think it'll be easily. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be easily.
How bad the Steelers skidded into the playoffs. Now, the one thing is, I could be completely wrong about this because they normally do very well against Lamar Jackson.
They play each other tough.
Yeah. But I just don't know about it this time.
Bills, Broncos?
This should be fun. I'm going to go with the Bills. I just don't feel like in his rookie year, Bo Nix is going to be able to upstage
Josh
Allen up in Buffalo. And I don't know. They probably have like 10 feet of snow right now. If we got a foot earlier this week, like
they can build their stadium out of snow.
They certainly could. I
agree. And if Denver's defense shows up, and see, this is the interesting point. Denver's defense had 60-plus sacks this year. The Bills' defense only gave up, I think, 13 sacks. So which one of that is going to crumble? It could go both ways. If Denver's defense show up, it could be a very well-contested game. If not, we've seen Josh Allen. He can just run all over you and not have to throw.
And then you also could get the weird, happens every once in a while, Josh Allen just shits the bed. He just might not have it in this game. And Every once in a while, there's normally one or two a season. He just has a complete clunker.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that day. Sean Payton is a great coach, but I just kind of don't see it happening with a rookie.
Yeah. Now to the NFC side. Rams-Vikings, which that game got moved to Monday and in another state.
Yeah, the wildfires out in L.A. have been crazy. And that moved the line like 1.5 or so in favor of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
The home field advantage matters, boys and girls. Who you picking?
I'm going to take the Rams.
I was going to take the Rams. It was actually at home. But when the line moved that much, I think it moved that much for a reason. And I guess so I'm going with Sam Darnold. Isn't this wild?
I know.
That I'm taking Minnesota when I wouldn't take them for so long with Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
It didn't matter
nope.
what the situation was. I would not take them with Kirk Cousins. And now Sam Darnold, hey man, I'll trust him. I was always a Sam Darnold guy, so maybe this is just confirmation bias, but I'm glad he's gotten it together up there. I hope they pay him $40 million.
I know that Detroit's defense is a whole lot different than the Rams' defense, but if the Rams can put half of that pressure on Sam Darnold, I mean, you saw the Lions just cakewalk their way to that division title. So
yeah, he did not have a good game.
If the pressure can get there, I think the Rams can get there. And, I mean, you can't stop Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and Cooper Kupp, all three at the same time. So it'll be challenging. It'll be close. It'll definitely be a one-possession game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks Commanders. Baker Mayfield is having a career year.
So the over/under total here on ESPN Bet is 50.5. I might take the over if it was 70.5. I think this is going to be a lot of points in this game. Because I don't think either team has a very good defense, and both of these quarterbacks can stuff the stat sheet. It should be a lot of fun. Wow, I didn't notice Baker had 4,500 yards.
Yeah.
Slinging it, Mr. Mayfield.
Side note, did you see I'm glad that the Bucks last week against the Saints, they didn't come out and they got the ball back after New Orleans went 3 and out or 4 and out. And they didn't just take a knee. They threw it to Evans for his 8 yards to get his 1,000 receiving yards.
Mm-hmm. For the 11th straight season. And did you hear how much money he made?
$3 million.
$3 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think Baker's going to receive a nice gift because that was all on him to give him that.
Yeah, probably. That's crazy. And did you hear what Baker said after the game? Someone said something to him about trying to break the record, and he was like, man, I had to make sure I got it to him. If not, he'd had to play 11 more years to be able to break the record or something like that.
So that'd be 22,000 receiving yards minimum. I mean, Mike Evans, he if he stays healthy, he could break Rice's record. It's a long shot, but yeah. And then the final game, Eagles-Packers. This one is so... do we know anything about Jordan Love? Because I know he went out in that game last week with an elbow injury.
Nope.
I don't. This is where it's like when Philadelphia has 3 different Philadelphias that they've played this year. It's like you don't know which one's going to show up. Hopefully, with them resting everybody last week, they don't come out in a slump. I'm gonna take Philly. I'm not gonna try and make points for either side. I'm just gonna take Philly.
I want to find the. He is okay. So real quick, the Mike Evans thing. He is just over 10,000 yards away from Jerry Rice.
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
he's got 12.6. Jerry had 22.9. So that's going to be a long...
All right, Baker, come on. We need a 2,000-yard reception for Mike Evans next year.
He's going to need a couple of them.
True.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to check the Jordan Love thing.
And while you do that, I saw this thing on Instagram the other day. You know, this could be the first time ever that one stadium hosts both the AFC and the NFC championship games.
I did see that. But so
Too much has to happen.
I was gonna but so here's the question, because I saw someone else ask this, but I think it's a very valid and great question to ask. Do you just do blank end zones and blank center of the field? Because the games would have to take place on the same day, so you wouldn't have time to repaint the field.
Yeah, one's at 3:30, one's at 6:30.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how would they even get the people out? How would you do it that fast?
Cattle prods. Get out, tasers. You're getting out. But no, yeah, they did say it would just be a generic NFL logo on the middle of the field and blank end zones, which, I mean, I'm all for it. That would be insane to see, because we'll never see that in our lifetime.
What, the two in the same stadium?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. So yesterday,
Well, it's either the Chargers or the Giants and the Jets that are the only ones that share a stadium.
but why couldn't the Chargers and the Rams do it this year?
No, I'm saying this is the only time I feel like that it would happen. I don't think we'll ever see it in our lifetime, so I'd rather, they could do it next year, but
Look, I
Why
know
wait till
it's
next
not
year?
likely for two New York teams to be good at the same time, but
highly.
that doesn't mean it can't happen.
I'd bet $1 million now that it'll never happen.
So, I think I would take that bet. Yesterday, he looks fine. He looks good. Matt LaFleur said about Jordan Love, who was a full participant in practice. He's so over this. So evidently he was annoyed by the question. Jordan Love will play.
I don't think that changes my mind. I'm still going to take Philly.
Jordan Love's just been a little bit too much up and down for me this year, and the fact that he's not going to be 100%. Now Philly's going to come out and make it look stupid because I said that, but I will pick Philly as well.
Saquon get the record.
Oh, that kind of sucked for him.
Yeah.
But so I guess that's going to do it for this week's episode of Play by Play. Go ahead and like us on all the social media platforms. Don't forget to like this specific YouTube channel. But don't forget to like the video, share it for us, and subscribe, guys. We'll see you guys next week, I guess, to recap all of this, and we'll probably finally, at some point, get to basketball. We'll try and make that an emphasis.
Yeah,
We'll
guess.
get there.
We have to eventually.
That's all, folks. See you guys.